If you're on my channel right now, it's probably because you want to fix your credit. So today I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did to not only fix my credit, but to maintain my credit. Before we start the video in its entirety, that this video is not just for people who have messed up or there's things incorrect on a credit report. This is also for people who are paying their on their credit accounts um, like they're supposed to. But this can also help you as well. But you have to watch and you have to pay attention very closely. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is pull your free credit report. You do that by going to annualcreditreport.com. You can use another engine as our website as well, but this one is the one I've used, and I know for a fact it's free. And I also want you to know, for those that don't know, it does not cost to pull. It doesn't count against you in a negative way to pull your own credit. Once you pull your credit report, you immediately want to download it. But you definitely want to download it immediately, because in most cases you cannot access this credit report again after you close out the site. The next thing you want to do is look at the report and ensure that everything on the report is accurate in terms of fraud, meaning everything, every card, every account on that report is one that you opened. But if it's not, then you obviously stop there and you report it as fraud. To put all three credit reports side by side, and you want to make sure that all three credit reports reported on you the same way. What do I mean by that? What I mean is every credit agency, reporting agency, has the obligation to accurately report on you as their as a credit user. They have to report all that information correctly. If they don't, by law, they have to remove that particular account from your credit report. So a lot of people don't understand that, and they don't understand that it's very, very common for the credit agencies to not report your information correctly. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Your credit report, so if you have Experian and you have Equifax and you have Transunion, the two that I put side by side, you should do all three, obviously, but for the purpose of this video, I believe this was Equifax and Transunion, but I put them side by side and I looked at both of them. And I took an old account. This account is closed, but I took an account that I used to have. And basically, what you want to do is you want to look at your accounts and you want to see, okay, look at every single month. See, is the date that they said your account opened the same? Is it accurate? Did you actually open your account on that date? Then you want to look at every single month after that. This is a lot easier if you became delinquent or you paid late, because they'll often get that information wrong and they won't be consistent across the board. So you want to make sure that all your credit reports are reporting that you opened your account the same day that you actually opened it, and it has to be the same across the board according to the date you actually opened it. It has to be correct according to the date that you actually closed the account, if it's closed, because, and I'll get back to that. And it also has to be correct in terms of your payment history and the current status. So let's just say that you did not pay your credit card bill in May, but then you did pick it up and you paid it in June. But your credit report is showing that you didn't pay it in June, but you paid it in July. That's very common for that to happen, for it to be reported to the agencies incorrectly. And if it is, then that is a very cause for you to dispute it, and they by law have to remove that off of your credit report within 30 days. So it's just that simple. So 3 things, and you can see in the letter that I'll be going over shortly, that you need to make sure is reported accurately and consistently across all 3 credit reports is the date of last activity, the payment history, and the current status. This is actually an example that I used for one of the letters I wrote. On Equifax account number, blah, blah, blah. So I'm using my account number. It reports an open date of February 15, 2013. Reports date of last payment as, it should say, it reports date of last payment as September 1st, 2013, and does not list a close date. Obviously, that's an issue. That's cause for them to have to remove that account from my credit report. And it just goes on and on and on. So all that is saying is basically it's showing that the accounts have been reported inconsistently and inaccurately, which is a basis for them to remove it from my report. Now, here's an example of the letter in full that I used. So I will make sure that I put either a link to the letter or something of that nature in the description box. I'll put it, maybe I'll just copy and paste the entire letter in the description box, and that way you can take it and you can customize it to your own satisfaction. This letter I didn't write. I actually got from a site that I'm going to put in the description box below as well. That's actually where I found this letter through research. So essentially, this letter is already written. I just filled it in with my particular account information and dates, etc. Once I did that, in some cases, I would send an email if I could by no means find a way to mail it. But you always want to mail it. You want to do both if you can. If you were to send this letter to the agency, to the company by email, just know that it has to be encrypted, meaning you have to use FOUO, you have to encrypt it, okay? However, on the other hand, if you don't have the ability or the option to encrypt emails, or you don't know how, just mail it. I suggest, even if you can't email, you definitely want to mail. When you mail it, I mail all of my correspondence, as you can see here. It was sent certified mail with signature confirmation, so I always receive something back showing a signature for somebody, making sure that I could confirm basically they received it. Once I received, I'm actually going to put that up on the screen next. There was a letter here that I received directly from, it was First Premier Bank, and it was basically them telling me that they had received my letter and that they would remove that particular account from my credit report within 30 days. And I even received a letter on one of the accounts where they had actually just, I believe it was like a $600 balance, but they actually agreed to go ahead and just pay it off. They said, we're going to pay it off and it's done once I sent them that email. So not only did they remove it, but they paid off my remaining balance. So that can actually happen. But not once did I ever receive correspondence back from any of these institutions saying, like, that they could verify their information. Most of the time, they don't even want to spend their time doing that. But even if they do that, the only way that they would have any basis to do that is if you didn't do your research correctly and if there really wasn't a discrepancy in the way they reported. Because I can guarantee you, if there was any discrepancy in the way they reported to any of the agencies in any way, they would have to, absolutely positively, they would have to send you that letter. First, you should confirm who currently has possession of the account. Is it in collections? Because if so, which collection agency has it? Because the debt is often sold without your knowledge. What I mean by that is, say if you have an account open with First Premier Bank, they can sell your account off to a collections agency called Barney Stewart Collection Agency. And then Barney Stewart can then sell it again to Vision Financial Corp. And they can continue to sell it and sell it and sell it. And you may have received a letter from a collections agency and you think it's them. And then you go ahead and spend your money sending them a certified letter and they don't even have the debt anymore. You don't want to make that mistake. So you want to Look at the actual credit report. Who's ever listed on the credit report is typically who currently has the debt, possession of the debt. What you do is you just call them. You look at the credit report, you see, okay, Vision Financial Corp, they are in control, they have the debt right now. You call them and you let them know, yes, I would personally call with a block number, but I would call them and I would let them know that I am so and so. I believe my debt is currently with you and I'm calling to confirm. So then they'll confirm or deny. And even if they deny, they'll tell you who they sold it to. And then you can call that person until you get to who it's with. But I actually have never gotten, every time I look at the credit report, who's ever listed there is typically who actually has the credit, the debt with them. And if there's nothing listed on your credit report, like you don't know who currently has the debt, then just call the original debtor. So if it was, let's say, DirecTV, and you don't know what agency, collection agency has your debt, just call them directly, and then they will tell you who currently has your debt. But I always like to go with what's in writing, so I go with what's on the report, and then I double check and I call that number and I confirm the debt is with them. And then once I confirm that, I also make sure I get from them the correct address that I need to send any dispute correspondence to. And so I confirm that information with them over the phone. That way, you make sure that you're not only sending it to the right agency, but you're sending it to the right address. And I even ask them, is there a particular person or, office that I need to address in the letter? If not, I'll just use to whom it may concern. So those are very important factors when it comes to mailing out these letters. You want to make sure you have the right um, collection agency. If it's in collections, you want to make sure you have the right address, and you want to make sure that you send it certified mail. So once that is done and you send it certified mail with signature confirmation, the last thing you do is just wait. You wait for a response. You wait for them to either email you or call you or send you a letter. Most of the time, they'll send you a letter. You want to focus on those negative accounts, those old accounts that are not quite 7 years old, that are bringing down your credit score, because you'll see a dynamic increase. I'm talking 40 to 50 points once you get those negative credit accounts off of your credit report. I follow the golden rule of credit, in my opinion, which is I spent 30% of my credit basically balance every month. And I mean of my total credit balance. And then I would pay it off in full at the end of the month. And I'm telling you, people have all these like off the wall, extraordinary ways to build credit, which there are many different ways to build your credit. But what I found, and what gave me the fastest increase in my credit report, and I'm talking about this part happened over a period of 4 to 6 months, where my credit jumped about 60 points in 4 to 6 months. And that's and that part happened from me literally using my one credit card, 30% of it every month, and paying off that 30% every month. I didn't pay off half. I didn't, oh, and I would pay, it was due on the 1st, so I'll pay it off like on the 26th, 25th, a few days before. And that alone made my credit score be what it is today. Like, I do not have a bunch of store cards. I don't have a bunch of other accounts. I know some people, like, they are so against credit. It's crazy, but good credit is good for your credit report. So you definitely want to have, I recommend having, if you're against it, just have at least one credit card. And obviously, if you choose to have multiple credit cards, keep in mind that if you have to spend 30% of the combined credit, So if you have one credit card that's $500, another one that's $500, you have to spend 30% of 1,000, and then you have to pay that off every month. So just keep that in mind. But I wanted to make this a pretty quick video. That is all of the information I have for you today. I hope that it helps somebody out there. And please comment in the comment box below if I'm missing something, if you want to know anything else, or let me know if you want me to like touch or cover on some other aspect of credit. All right, thank you, and bye-bye. Talk to you soon.